This weekend, Andy's learning to walk, Ryan is biking instead, and we go in circles in a pixelized helicopter. I'm Ryan.
Hey.
This is Weekend Rental, episode 206. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Andy, how you been? How was your Father's Day?
Oh, not too bad. Just kind of did not a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Played some board games, that type of thing. So, how about you?
Yeah, same sort of thing. We just kind of hung out. Usually the Mother's and Father's Day thing is like we'll pick a brewery and go have a couple, and then went over to Junkyard in Moorhead, and then up over to because my kids want to go to Walmart and Target there, and then back around home, which isn't that far, maybe I don't know, 5 miles. And I got to discover that the brake job I had done, I did all four. Well, I went in for my front brakes. They're like, all of them are bad. We recommend doing all four, which makes sense because I did all four probably, 40,000 miles ago. So I'm due. But here, the brake line, as they were doing the work, they had pinched it and it locked my driver's front, which I wasn't really aware of because, I got it home on Saturday, drove it and parked it. So I get home, pull into the driveway, and fucking smoke's just rolling out. I was like, oh God, something with it. So I pop the hood thinking the engine's on fire. And no, that brake pad was just melted and going for it. So they're not open on Sunday. I record a video so they know I'm not crazy. I'm like, yeah, you guys need to look at this. And then sure enough, yeah, it was seized on. It was warranted with the work I had done. So I'll give it up to the shop I took it to. We got that new Les Schwab came to Fargo, and I've been going to them for stuff, and they were good about it. They got me in that morning, got it fixed, added the additional brake lines, no cost, apologized. So all good, but not what you want. And I was just thinking God, thank God I wasn't hey, let's take the boat out and go fishing on Father's Day or something. Cause I'd have gotten a few miles out of town and just been on fire.
Yep.
So
yeah, that would have been, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it was an eventful, Father's Day, but it was good. It was pretty chill. We just hung around. My kids and wife got me a small, old school popcorn machine, with the bucket and everything that dumps it for the garage. Mm-hmm. So, made some popcorn. It was all right. It's a convenient popcorn machine in that everything in it is super tiny, and there's virtually no way to get all the popcorn out of it without scalding yourself every time. So I really like that feature. It makes good popcorn.
Cornballer from Arrested Development, pretty much.
Yeah, it's makes good popcorn. I could do without the second degree burns every time, but we'll get it figured out. So
I've always been interested in one of those, but I always that just seems like something that is a nightmare to keep clean.
Oh yeah,
all the time too.
Well, and
I'm much as you end up using it, I suppose.
100%. And I'm just well, we're already out in the garage and we have this thing called a microwave with a popcorn button. I was this is so much more convenient. And my wife's just come on. I'm no, I like it. I'm let's just be honest here. This is a way harder way to make popcorn than is necessary. But at least you can do the healthier pop and not have all the extra butter and fat and shit. So
Yep.
Yeah, it was good. And then my daughter bought me a big snack basket, which is cool, with all the stuff I like Twizzlers, and obviously I got some popcorn kernels in that, and Take 5 and stuff. So my son got me socks, very practical. I asked him, I was what are you, a 90-year-old grandma? You giving me socks? I'm what's going on here? Which I do need them though, because I don't know if you do this, but I pretty much do it with underwear and socks exclusively, where as long as it still covers 90% of the body part I put it on, I'll just continue to wear it, even if my balls and butthole are hanging out, or the whole bottom of my foot is exposed. So My wife has just been slowly throwing away all my socks as she finds them in the laundry. So I was really desperate for socks. So it was a good purchase.
Yep. I'm wearing there's a big hole in my sock right now. And these are one of my newer pairs. So
I don't know what happens to socks. how does that happen, right?
Yeah. My wife just she had enough of all the kids' socks getting lost and trying to, even trying to match that stuff. They don't even care anyway,
right?
About matching. She bought basically, it looked like a pallet of socks that just came in a huge bundle. It had to have been hundreds of socks. That it's
It's
like,
like
okay, we're just doing that.
Amazon like pallet just shows up one day with socks.
Yeah. And she said before, like one day, if you ever got rich and you could just do the one thing that was like normal people don't do, it would be that. Just you'd buy a new pair of socks every day
Every
and just
day.
throw them away at the end of the day.
Yeah, that would be nice. I always have a fresh pair on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, trying to think what has happened. I'm looking at our contact list. I wanted to start off with a random one because we started watching Supernatural again. We couldn't get the whole family together because my son just got sick of watching it, so we just gave up and we're like, we're pushing on. We got to continue through this with just my daughter and my wife and me. But I realized that, like, I think you and I briefly talked about it at MJC with your wife too about how you guys had finished it. But did we ever have like the on podcast discussion of like the
I don't know.
finale? I don't think
Yeah,
we
I don't know
did,
if we
right?
did. No, I don't think so.
So now that I'm rewatching it again and getting in there, like I haven't gotten to the awful seasons yet or the struggle seasons, but like I think you guys were a little more happy with the finale of that or like okay with it than my wife and I were. Because you guys were like, well, that's how it would happen, right? So don't want to spoil it for anything, but eventually, Supernatural ends the way that Supernatural was always going to, in that the protagonists are dead. But I guess what I take issue with is like it was just such a kind of weak season leading up to that finale, and then the finale being totally hampered by COVID, so they couldn't bring back all the people that like they referenced them, but they couldn't be on set. And then I also like I don't have a problem with the fact that like one of them dies on the final hunt, and that's like the catalyst for like the finale. What strikes me as weird though is like in a show where over the 16 seasons death became so inconsequential, like when someone dies, it's always the next season of like the other brother finding a way to bring that person back, right? And it's just like, so what was different this time? Like, so it's been a year since the last one of you died. How come you just gave up on this one and didn't try to bring your brother back from heaven or hell or wherever the hell he ended up,
Yeah. I mean, he did say, do not bring me back this time.
They don't ever listen to that. Come on.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in that regard for how many times that it's been done throughout the show. Death is just a suggestion or 100%. Just a stop. And but the thing that interesting is that it doesn't happen in the big climax of everything that's happening in the show. And that whole episode is basically just an afterthought of, there's no storyline or any big climax or any ongoing big threat going on. They've taken care of everything.
And it's within the first 10 minutes that the death happens too. So like, it's really weird pacing.
Yep. I mean, they could have done a death or something in the main final battle of that season,
Yeah, in the big, like the sacrifice whatever, right? Would have been making sense, right? Like we will go down with the ship to defeat the big bad finally, right? I feel like that would have been a more like grounded and satisfying ending to me.
Yeah, I think I had a bigger problem with at the end of all of that Jack just he turns into God basically.
Right.
At the end. And then he's just like, I'm too big for you guys. He's just like, I'm too big for you guys. I can't be friends with you. I can't see you anymore. I'm just going to go do my own thing now. And they're just like, oh, okay. Yep. You're God. You got to go do that. Meanwhile, like they've been talking to Chuck, who's God for how many seasons, like why is Jack all of a sudden too big to just hang out with them anymore?
Yeah, maybe it's because he's technically Satan's son, so he's not like the best at the God role. Like, a little bit of competing priorities or genetics, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that is sort of odd. And I guess like you can use that excuse of like, maybe that's why it ended, because like technically God and Satan, the two powers that resurrected them, are technically off the table at that point.
Yep.
I don't know. I just the thing that like because that scene happens, then it goes into like a 15-minute like montage essentially of Sam like aging, which they do a terrible job of like trying to age that guy. It's like, okay, you dyed his hair gray. He's still like 30 fucking 6. Like we can tell. And then like the other thing I didn't quite like was, Sam, like his whole character arc is trying to leave that life. And then it's just like depicted very clearly that he immediately gets his teenage son into the life. I was like, that seemed very against his character.
Especially when, everything that happened with the mom too.
Right.
It's like, why would you ever bring family into that again?
Right. Yes. 100%. Yeah. It again, like I've watched things that disappoint me more. I felt pretty indifferent to how it ended. It's just, it didn't have like, because of the circumstances, like it just didn't have the final wrap that I think a lot of like the fact that Bobby Singer is not back in, like he's mentioned, but again, mentioned, couldn't be on set, like those people not being there. It just didn't really like send it off to the fans very well.
He was in that final episode.
Was he? Was it the dad who wasn't on camera then? Because was it?
I don't think. Yeah. So Bobby was up in heaven or something like that.
Yeah, at the cabin. And and then he mentioned that the mom and that's right. Bobby was there. It was the mom and the dad that were mentioned, but not on screen.
Yep.
But yeah, and then like kind of like that last shot too of like from all of us to all of you, and it's like 30 people on a bridge. It's like, well, you could get the 30 people in the crew together, but you couldn't have like had the crew stand off to the side and like bring in, you know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't as touching as I think they intended it to be. It just, I don't know. It left me wanting something better, but at the same time, I don't know what better would have been.
Yeah, I don't know. Once you do something for that long and that like in depth into so many different characters and stuff, what do you do? It would be like, what's the final episode of The Simpsons? Like it can't possibly be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at least like Supernatural did a good job of like you still cared about most of the characters at the end. Like with a show like The Simpsons, it's just like who's still watching that? I think most of the fan base stuck around for the end of Supernatural. Where with The Simpsons, 90% of those people fell off years ago.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's really fun going back and watching it. And I love that like I've got the DVD versions, that have like the actual licensed soundtracks and stuff. So you're getting like the actual classic rock and stuff that kind of like make those early episodes and those characters. So
yeah,
it's pretty neat. It's so funny though, because like every episode we watch, like, inevitably one of them is like about to be taken out. My daughter's like, oh no. I'm like, season 2. Like they're 16. Like, do you really think that they're dead? Like, they're going to come out of this. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like really, there's a few seasons where they're kind of split up for kind of long stretches, right? Doing other things. But overall, there's never been an extended time where neither of them is in it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some story arcs though. Yeah, definitely like branch off pretty good. There's just like, you forget like in rewatching it too, like how many good actors they got in and like how many people came back time and time again for like guest appearances and stuff. There's like that whole Hunter dude and like that Ash guy who's just like the weirdo with like the cut off sleeves and just like can hack anything. Like he's such a good character. I kind of forgot about, but
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially at the end, they're bringing everybody back all the time. It's kind of crazy how they got everybody to come back to do that.
Yeah.
That probably didn't play the role. Bobby didn't play the role for how long? And then he's like, oh, I'll come back for.
Well, yeah. And like Bobby was like, it kind of bounced between Bobby. There's always like the third man aspect, right? And it was like either Bobby or the cast stuff. And then, I guess Crowley too is a pretty big character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I still want to see that series come back. I just wish they would stop getting work in other things so they had time to do it. But there's not a doubt in my mind that in the next 3 years that won't get revived. Like everything comes back.
Yeah. It just seems like, like the way they're building up the stuff that's happening in The Boys, it sure seems like they're like poking and prodding at like, yeah, Supernatural's gonna be after this, you know?
Yeah, and it seems like Kripke's pretty eager to potentially come back too,
Hmm.
or at least help them like frame out the show. So it'd be cool to see. I still think like it's a bummer that we never got a theatrical movie. Like this could have been like probably a 3 movie run. Like this could have been a pretty good
Hmm.
motion picture. Like I mean, the X Files got like 3 or 4 movies. It's odd that Supernatural never did, especially when they were both doing feature films for a while there in between. So,
Yep.
and maybe some of that it was too because they had those insane seasons like run length where it's like, no, you're contracted for like 25 episodes a season. So, but yeah, it was funny because we were talking. You mentioned in either the movie podcast or the last one we recorded how Supernatural is just terrible with the. Here's the thing you should remember that you totally forgot. And we were watching some episodes. It's like, yeah, they lead you right into what's coming up so hard.
Yep.
It's like I almost wish you could cut that out of the DVDs. And
Yep.
then we hit
I
like one of
can't.
the mid-season break ones too. So like instead like at the end of the episode, there's not like then it's like coming soon, and it like sets up like the next like 3 episodes in the season when it would come back in February, I suppose. So
Yep. To be fair, I'll take that stuff over the majority of what was going on during the CW, all the other CW shows that I admit I watched a lot of Smallville and Arrow and those type of movies,
yeah,
which were good for the parts that I like them for, but they also always had the teenage
yeah,
romance drama love triangle shit in them all the time. And at some point, Supernatural is just like enough of that garbage.
yeah.
We're just building the show here.
Yeah, they did a good job of always steering away from that because yeah, my wife I could never get into Smallville, but my wife was like very addicted to it. In fact, I think I bought her like season 10. I don't know if she ever actually finished the show, but yeah, you're right. It is nice that they never got caught up in like relationship drama. I mean, it's such a perfect, just like X Files, like any show where you can just like throw a premise at it and have it go. So I think it was like season 2, episode 7. You hear, I just started laughing because like they go to the like haunted hotel thing, and then um, Dean makes the joke about Scooby Doo and like how he's got such a thing for Daphne. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like I like that they were like laying that in here, 13 seasons before it got to that. So
Not knowing that would even be a possibility at some point,
yeah,
how they did that. Yeah.
that's like one of the greatest episodes in the show. But yeah, I'm like super pumped on rewatching it again. I know it's going to get rough though, like past season 5, but
So when they get the headquarters, that's the part where I missed. I kind of like the how are they going to decorate the hotel room this week?
yes. Yes, I know. We were just talking about that too. I was like, oh god, I missed this hotel room where it's like every wall divider is a different one. Like the one we watched 2 episodes ago was like clearly it was Schlitz, but they changed the name of the beer. I'm like, why would you want to stay in a hotel room where like it's constantly lit up by these like 10 glowing Schlitz signs and like beer bottles behind you? Like you'd never sleep. So yeah, I guess they ran out of decoration ideas.
Yeah, I suppose, but
Yeah. Well, people have probably heard me and you and us talk about Supernatural enough, but I just thought I wanted to get that in there because I was like remembering like we never actually like did the breakdown on the show. So, well, what do you got here? You got a few topics. I didn't catch the 2 last things. What's your first one? The baby steps.
so this is a demo of it's a game called Baby Steps. And did you ever see the game that was it was a man in a cauldron with a sledgehammer?
Yeah, Benny Potter's getting over it or getting over it with Benny Potter
Yes,
or whatever.
yes. This is his next game,
Okay.
and you're like a grown baby. It's just an adult who's just a loser, right? Just falls into this world, and you basically have to control his legs, kind of co-op style,
Okay.
to walk around. And it's got some pretty good humor, and it's a lot of like trying to get up hills and mountains and stuff, and it's just you're just falling down all the time, and it's pretty hilarious. It's the same type of, and I can't say I'm a huge, like, I can't stick with these games too far,
Sure.
but it's the same type of like lose all your progress on one
One false
fatal
step.
mistake, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's probably not quite as bad as Getting Over It, but this one is definitely a lot bigger budget than that,
Oh,
and
really?
a lot of voice acting in it. And
Is
problem
this
is,
coming
like,
to anything other than Steam, or is it going to be PC only again?
I think it's on coming to consoles too, but
Okay.
this was a demo on Steam that I played it, and
Okay.
the one bummer about it is I was playing with my kids, who just absolutely loved it because it's hilarious. You know, you're just on the
Right.
even when you're on the ground, just you can control his legs, and you're just flopping around on the ground. It's pretty good visually like that, and but it's just constantly swearing. He's
Oh,
just like,
really?
oh shit, and like falling down,
That's
which is
awesome.
funny, but the kids are like, what's going on?
That's awesome. Is that like coming soon then? Does he have a release date for it?
I have to imagine it's this year
Okay.
because I didn't play it too long, but holy cow, you could really go a lot of places in that. And I can't imagine if it's like a whole open world map and you're just walking around like that, that's gotta be, I don't know. I started getting the hang of it, but I think it does some like randomized, you can't just get in a rhythm, I don't think.
Okay.
It starts doing some like randomized stuff where you have to adjust your things. A lot like Death Stranding, where you have to constantly adjust your balance, right?
Sure.
But
I'll have to watch that. I'm sure that's going to be a popular one for streaming again, like his last one was.
mhm.
Seems like those are the types of games that are made for, a Twitch audience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. So it's like, is there an objective, like, or in the demo even, or is it just kind of like goof around?
Yeah, it's pretty much just goof around. It's the main character is just the most socially awkward guy possible. So a lot of the dialogue is just awkwardness. So I mean, if you're not into that type of humor, you're gonna feel really uncomfortable, I think, but it's pretty good.
Seems like it'd be right up my alley. Um, so I know like we've been pretty vocal and open and honest about our feelings on the Switch 2, and that it wasn't worth grabbing. Weak launch, not sure what they were doing exactly. So, you and I talked like how we were going to, pass on it and wait and see when it came out. So naturally I bought it on launch day. Cause I'm an asshole. I, I went to a Best Buy at like 6 p.m. the day of launch, just because I was out and about, and I was like, I just want to like see what they have for like accessories and games and stuff. And they had like freaking 50 consoles left, so of course I bought that. And the only game that's worth grabbing, which was the Mario Kart World, and I just kind of like rationalized it as like I'm gonna get this like probably within the year anyway. I'll just pull the trigger. Um, so yeah, I'm a big sucker, and everything we said about why you don't need a Switch 2 at launch holds entirely true. Um, it's a very well built console. If you like the Switch, it's just such an underwhelming move to a new platform, because you turn it on, it really wants you to transfer your old account and stuff from your old Switch, and you do that. And then you get into the UI and you realize that like they've built an ecosystem, and Sony and Xbox are guilty of this too, right? Like where it's like these new iterations, you're just turning it on and it's just the same thing you've seen, like the menu layout. So it's the same, almost identical menu to the Switch. The black or white theme is your only choice. The store layout is no better organized. It's faster. I'll give them that. It runs faster because it's got better processing power, but it's one of these things where it's like the Switch 2 is exactly what everybody wanted for the sequel from the Switch, but it's entirely possible, I feel like, to get exactly what you want and still be let down and underwhelmed at the same time. And that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. And I don't think Mario Kart is a great launch game. It's not the right type of game, right? So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It's a good
Yeah, I mean,
console.
I think you're right. They're obviously a victim of their own success because they didn't have a choice. They can't make a gimmick and go away from the Switch at this point because that
Yeah.
would be a terrible business plan. And obviously, they did the right thing for how well it sold too.
Yes.
So, I mean,
And this is supposedly the fastest selling console of all time, even beating out the PlayStation
Mhm.
2. So obviously it's doing the numbers. And like the way the Joy-Con attach and how that all works is so much more satisfying and solid. The fact that it's a little bigger in adult hands, like it's more comfortable, right? It's less cramped. I still don't love I know why they do it on the Joy-Con. I still don't love the stick being lower on the right side. I think they should have done 2 upper. If you've played a Steam Deck, you'll know how good that feels. I think, yeah, the Steam Deck has them both on top. So like, I'm happy with the build quality and everything. I just wish that they had tried a little more innovation in the presentation, but I get at the same time why they didn't. They really just built a cohesive platform. And then I got that fucking welcome tour also for $9, and like that, if like, how would Nintendo didn't decide that that should just be a pack-in blows my mind. Like, it is literally a tutorial on the features of your console. It is not a game. There's like no real mini games. It's neat if you're into that. I think it's a really cool thing. It just should be installed on your device when you boot it up. I'm not mad that I paid $10 for it. I just think it's gross that they want you to, you know?
yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of my takeaway about this is like, I think they did everything right, and it's a perfectly good machine. The problem is what Nintendo has learned over the Switch of this is that they can do no wrong, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, and the games being $80 is insane to me.
Right.
You know, and I had the OLED, so like it's noticeable that the screen quality is worse. Like, it's not as bright. It's fine. I have some real issues with the screen and the way the console does HDR. I know there's some settings you can adjust, and I've adjusted some, but like, it really washes out whites and bright colors. It really does a bad job with them, both in handheld and docked. To the point where like it's noticeable if you play other consoles, like, and you kind of like, especially with Mario Kart, like certain elements in that have a color palette that we're used to, right? Like some power ups, like the in Mario Kart, like the star for sure is like really washed out, like in really faded. And you get like this weird almost N64 like fog in like distance shots, like long view shots, because of that HDR like washout. So I find that really to be the biggest disappointment, but overall, like, I'm not mad with the console. I think it's cool. I think they made the right design choices where they needed to. You know, the cartridge slot opens much easier. Like, I'm a person who like nervously or just like out of habit chews my nails. So like, usually for me to switch out a Switch game requires me going to the kitchen and getting like a knife to pop that hatch.
Yeah.
It's nice that I don't have to do that. The kick mount is much better, like for standing it on tabletop, but it's possible to, it's thinner. So like, it bends really well. Like, so it's possible to really flex that in a weird way that I could see someone maybe jacking that up, not wanting to, and potentially causing issues with that down the road. Time will tell. But yeah, overall, it just feels like I got a Switch Pro kind of more than, because it's just missing the killer apps. And I can't be too mad about that, because like, you look at what the PlayStation 5 still has or what the Xbox still has, and it's like, those are both new consoles that have been on for 5 years, and you could argue don't have a killer app yet. And you know Nintendo's at least going to get there, but I would have liked a little more differentiation in WoW and like at least the UI. That would have been enough to make me a little happier. Because I mean, that was a problem with the Switch too, right? It was like no themes or any of that stuff, and those are just minor nitpicks. So
Yeah. And
I have
yeah,
noticed
and
it's a
obviously the games are going to come, you
yeah,
know.
the games will come. I have noticed that it's kind of a picky bitch of a console to get like previous gen pro controllers and stuff to work. Like, because I don't have like
Oh,
Nintendo
really?
pro controllers, I've got like third party ones. And like, it was really weird, like trying to get it to sync and like recognize it. Like, I kind of had like a 5 minute struggle. Like, it would say it would recognize it, but I couldn't like hit the LNR to like bring it in. And I don't know.
Huh.
But that could just be the peripherals I have too. I mean, I got it to work, so I'm not upset. But yeah,
Hmm.
I just really want like Metroid. I'm obviously excited for. I just want to get to a point where like there's something like that, because there will be the Zeldas and there will be the killer apps. I just would like to have more to do with it now. And I've done some of the exploring of like getting the upgrade packs for the Zelda games, and they run remarkably well. Like, I haven't played a lot of previous gen games, but like seeing Zelda run at a steady frame rate and having it load super fast is awesome. The companion app bullshit that they like have exclusive on these versions, I don't think adds enough. Plus, I'm not a big, grab another device to interact with the game I'm playing with person, so I'm probably not going to get a lot out of that, but it does make all that older stuff run remarkably well, and just cutting down the loading times is awesome.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one available when Donkey Kong comes out, I'll probably end up getting that. I mean, unless the word is that that game is horseshit, maybe not.
Right.
But I can't imagine it's going to be like it's not going to
Yeah,
review terribly. I don't think.
it's a Nintendo platformer. You got to figure it's going to be like, that's their bread and butter, right?
Right.
Like, even their bad ones tend to be better than average. I would imagine that's going to be their next push, right? To really get a big bulk of consoles out is for that launch. So,
Yeah. I'm guessing they wanted that at launch,
right.
and was probably not too happy to hear that they had to push it out. But
It really sucks that they didn't have Metroid for launch. Like, if they'd had Metroid and Mario Kart, that'd have been killer. I think it's the weakest launch lineup in Nintendo history, right? Maybe the GameCube is pretty not great. Like, Luigi's Mansion wasn't lighting anybody up too much, but you had Melee. Was Melee at launch or right after?
what was on? Yeah,
It was close.
yeah. I don't know what 64 was. Was it Mario? I don't. I
I
thought
think it
that.
was Mario and Pilot Wings, wasn't it?
Okay.
Could be wrong. I'm not the right person to ask on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fat liar and I got it anyway. And it's sad because like it's the only console I've ever bought at launch. And it's like, you know what I mean, the least underwhelming day one purchase, but still
Yeah.
satisfying nonetheless, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I think what you said is it's a pro, right? It's just a pro version, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
I mean, the beauty is like, even stuff like, Cyberpunk, which I haven't played, but like people are saying like that is a very good experience, even in comparison to like a Steam Deck. So I think that says a lot about ease of people bringing games over, like more third party support. So if you can get a suitable version of something like that, and you don't have to deal with dicking around with Linux core or a Windows handheld, plug and play is nice if you can get third party games to run reasonably well on the go.
I think they made a mistake with the game key cards, and
Yes.
I it's not necessarily Nintendo games because they're probably going to do regular stuff and keep them on the card.
Yeah.
I've bought over the years. I've bought a lot of versions on a Switch because I knew it was a physical card, and the game on the Switch was inferior to the other versions.
Right.
But I ended up buying it because of that reason, knowing that someday I'll have this so you can play this. Even
Yes.
though that's still probably not true, with updates and all that stuff. It probably is still not true even with those ones. But I think I'm going to find myself in those situations just buying PC. It's going to be
Yeah.
Steam. I think the third parties on that are doing the game key things are going to be like, why isn't anybody buying this? How many Switches are out there? You know?
Yeah, I agree. I have no interest in owning a game key card game that I know is just a download code. And like people will say, like, well, the internet will always exist, but like IPs are evergreen. Like things get taken down because of content, things get taken down because of publisher buyouts and acquisitions. And like, yeah, you can't be guaranteed that in 20 years this game key card will let you access anything. And at that point, you just bought a paperweight. And yeah. And that was, again, I'm the same as you. Like I was like, Switch is my physical system. I will, if I can get the game physically for the Switch, I will do it on that console. But now you're right. You'd be silly not to just build that Steam or Epic game collection and have the better version. And it's the same difference,
I'm going
right?
to trust Steam having that download available way more than Nintendo having a server to download this shit,
Yeah. And there's the argument that like, well, you can sell a game key card. It's like, okay, but that's not why I buy the physical to sell it down the road. So yeah, it pretty much just means that it will be my first party physical machine. And then, yeah, maybe I'll download some indie titles, but yeah, it is a weird choice. And it's a stepping stone too, right? Like everything's increasingly moving to digital. So
yeah. I mean, at some point it's just going to be eliminated.
Yeah. For the mouse controls work shockingly well. Like on pretty much any surface. Like I was doing some of the demos and stuff like on a pillow laying in bed, and the tracking for what it is excellent. I think I've already seen some coming up, like 3D prints to like slot it into like what is like an ergonomic mouse. And I think that's if Nintendo doesn't do it, you can rest assured that on Etsy you're going to find these all over. I think that will probably be the accessory to buy if you're serious about taking advantage of that. I don't know how much I will be. I honestly don't even think I'll probably do it with Metroid. I think it'd probably still gravitate towards a controller because that's just my preference, but it's a nice option. I could see it being really good. And if Nintendo takes advantage of doing it for, couch co-op games on the go, it could be really neat. But seeing as how they weren't really coming with that out of the gate, because that's when Nintendo usually does that shit, right? Is like the 1-2 switches of the world and, the Wii Sports or
like the people that were betting on a Mario Paint sequel, like they're doomed. Like it would have happened.
It does seem like that, right? Right.
Like this was the time to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, at least maybe now we'll see it come to the virtual console or the Switch Online, and they'll have a version that you can use that with. But they haven't fitted onto other things that would have made sense. I heard somebody talking about, the Tingle tuner or whatever isn't in the Wind Waker version on GameCube. Like it would have been so nice if like the companion app would have turned into your Tingle tuner. Not that was a neat feature, but I mean, it was something, right? Would have been cool to replicate it, but yeah. So more to come on that. Right now, it's not getting a lot of use in my home, but I think I as much as I don't have any strong interest in that Donkey Kong game, I'll definitely be picking it up to see what I can get out of it.
Well, it's only $70, so
that's true. It's a steal. It's weird that that's so far out. Like it's the 17th of July. Like having to wait a whole month and a half for your next Nintendo game is kind of crazy on a new console from them.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder. And then, you think about all the ones that they were showing off for the original Switch, the Rhythm Heavens and the Tomodachi, like there's this, it's just a weird time for Nintendo.
It is.
And like, it always is kind of,
I think it's such a different Nintendo with with Bowser as the president. Like it's got such a, I don't know. It's like they're sort of losing what made them Nintendo and to some extent, I think like the leadership is just so hands off. And like, we're so used to like the Reggie era of like, Nintendo for such a long time had that powerful presence, like a Phil Spencer for Xbox. And now it's just, I feel like it's kind of like not there. And like, you're not seeing Miyamoto and directs and I don't know. I mean, everything changes, right? But I think they did put out solid hardware. I just think it needs time to grow into it, and people are fully justified in waiting and holding off on this thing.
The Joy-Sticks, though, like, how do you not fix the
Yeah,
put
isn't
the
that
same
crazy?
Joy-Cons? Yeah,
Or at least make them
I don't get it.
self-repairable to some extent. Like
Yeah,
from the teardowns I've seen, not so much. I mean, slightly better, but still not great.
ugh. I I do have my eye on a uh different hardware.
Well,
I don't know if you saw this, but Xbox is coming out with their new console.
I mean, they're not. Rogue is coming out with a
It says
new.
Xbox right on it. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I would say Xbox is coming out with a hotkey on a Rogue Ally handheld. I am curious on it too. I think the appeal to me of being a big fan of the Game Pass and having something that like seamlessly allows me to do that from my couch, but there's other options. Depending on the price point, yeah, I think it could be pretty attractive. And knowing that it's Windows based, so you can just like bounce out and get Steam running too.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the part where I'm interested in this because it is form fit for Xbox and Game Pass, which is a big thing that I use.
Yep.
Where the other way, if you got a Steam Deck, yeah, you can do that stuff, but it's not. It's a little bit more hoops to jump
Right.
through to get it
Yeah, it takes
the
the
Xbox
PC
way.
effort, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this way is maybe the best way to go jump into that pool of the PC handheld PCs is probably getting this thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm pretty interested in that. I mean I've been kind of looking at these before anyway.
Yep.
But this one, considering how well it's gonna, I mean they're gonna focus on this being performant for Xbox stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, if they can get it working well. But I mean, even just with like how well the X Cloud works on like Chromebooks and stuff, like
mhm.
it leads me to believe that this thing will probably be able to do things very well.
Yeah. Well, the way they've been talking lately even is that like the game stuff is getting even on a Windows level. It's starting to they're working together with the Windows people where they're forking Windows basically
Yeah.
so that it cuts out all the
The bullshit.
extra processes, yeah, all this stuff you don't need, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like and
That
that's
should
probably
just be
not just
Windows in general, to be quite
right,
honest. Like,
right. I think that will be.
yeah.
I think that at some point that's probably what they're going to do is they're going to be able to recognize that. But yeah, I think that I kind of like that direction of if Xbox is not going to do what it was before, doing this type of stuff is pretty good idea, I think.
Yeah. The only thing with that is like I think the price point's gonna be pretty gross because like we're talking like probably $800 I think for the premium version, which that's a lot. I mean, granted the Switch is at 450, but it's a big investment.
I can do my word processing on it though.
That's true. Could be your work machine and your gaming
Yeah, I
machine.
could do my taxes at the end of the year.
Sweet.
I mean, it makes sense for a family. Just,
It's practical. You're right.
yep.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the other like Xbox announcements? Like I know they talked about like games and roadmap a little bit, but
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff on there that I thought, I don't know, that it's one of those things where it looks cool, but when are you ever going to play it, right?
sure.
And it's funny how those type of announcements would have got me really excited at some point. When they say we're remaking Persona 4, that would have been the craziest thing at some point. And now it's like, that's cool. I'll never play it. I
Right.
cannot imagine. I've already played the game. I cannot commit to playing that game again. But
Yeah, there's so much of that anymore.
Yep.
Even like did you watch some of like the like Summerfest and like the game dev stuff that was going on too this week, and or
Yeah.
it was into last week, I guess that was maybe.
Yep. Yep.
Anything catch your eye out of that?
I mean the Xbox One, they had that Clockwork Revolution or something. That one looked pretty cool.
Okay.
There was another one where you're like cleaning up a hotel but fighting ghosts at the same time. It was, I don't know what that game was, but it looked cool. And yeah, I don't know. Did you catch any of it?
No, I kind of missed it all. Like, I felt like Summer Games Fest has just kind of been like, I don't know, like the Jeff Keighley machine has continued to like hold less and less interest with everything he does, even the Game Awards. So I just kind of slept on all of that this year. I wasn't paying much attention at all, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it now, trying to figure out something that you would be really interested in. They have a new Scott Pilgrim coming
Oh,
out.
beat him up.
Beat him up, yeah. That'll
Okay.
be good. I don't know if it's a remake of the original or not. It's just called EX, so
It could be just a extended
could be
version.
a remake of that one. Um, the Sonic racing game
That looks cool.
has really, yeah, it looks really cool. Um, I'm pretty excited about that, considering Transformed is still one of my favorite kart racing games.
Yeah,
That
I agree. Like,
is definitely trying to go to.
it lacks the polish of a Mario Kart in the way that you can like totally screw yourself, but those are excellent racers.
Yep, yep. So I like the last one they did was just Team Sonic Racing, which was fine, but it's just like
Yeah.
give me other characters. I don't need to like the deep depths of Sonic characters. I
Yeah. Yeah, I was like reading about like the Nemesis system that they've got in there, like all this dialogue for like back and forth banter between characters, which I'm like, that's a huge extra layer that you didn't need to pack into a kart racing game, but that's pretty
and
cool.
especially if they're going like cross games, like that type of stuff is fun.
Yeah. Well, side note, just because I was thinking about that because we're talking about Sega, but Sega is like taking like sunsetting a bunch of their mobile titles right now. So like I think like the Streets of Rage games, um, Monkey Ball, Crazy Taxi, Shining Force, some Sonic stuff. There's like 9 games that they're taking offline for support, and they've
Hmm.
made them all free now across iOS and Android. So if you
Oh,
have any
really?
interest in
Okay.
those things, just search them up because free, get them while you can. So I
Yeah.
downloaded the Monkey Ball and the Crazy Taxi one. Oh,
Does
Streets
Monkey
of Rage
Ball use your
motion.
phone to tilt?
Yeah, it
Really?
does, which I don't love, but it's still cool for a freebie. And
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi has like the actual like proper soundtracks, which is the reason I play that game anyway. So I was like, oh sweet,
Mhm.
I'll listen to some Bad Religion and waste a few
Yep.
minutes here.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
anything
Other
else
than
come
that,
out other than
I mean,
catch your eye beyond the Sonic stuff?
I think the big reveal that I don't have a whole lot of uh, interest in is the new Resident Evil 9 at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm with you. Like I've really liked what they've done with 7 and 8, but I just never played 8. And as cool as 7 was, those are just like not my kind of games anymore.
Hmm.
But that'll be a big one for sure. I'm sure there was like some Death Stranding like additional details and stuff too, because that game is
Yeah.
like next week, right?
Yeah. I think it's pretty soon. So, yeah, they showed a trailer from that. Of course, it's, just weird.
Norman
Doesn't
Reedus
make
and
any sense.
fetuses. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, there was Grounded too. I don't know if you saw
Oh, I
that.
did see that. I don't like the pacing in Grounded. Like it's not. My son and I tried to pick it back up again, and I was just like, I don't think I can get back into this thing. Like it is just the grind towards the end of that game is just so much more. Like you never feel like you're a god. Like you never work to I can tackle anything in
Mm.
that game. It just constantly beats you even when you've like worked your way up. And it kind of drains the fun out of the end game. So I don't know, maybe a new one and starting off fresh would bring me back, but I'm not sure. I don't know what
Yeah.
they add, like what do you do to make it better?
Is it, are you small in a city or something like that? That's what I'm wondering if
That could be
it's,
cool. Yeah, get out of the backyard.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first game at least was like really cool in capturing that like Honey I Shrunk the Kids vibe, right? Like you felt like it, like, as someone who grew up in that era, like I was like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
kind of that guy. Like I'm in Honey I Shrunk the Kids essentially, and
Well, considering he's coming back for another
uh,
old project, why not get him back for this and just have him in here?
have him be a voice actor. That's true.
Yeah.
That Spaceballs 2 is going to be a train wreck. I mean, I hope
I
I'm
think.
wrong, but it's going to be a train wreck. I think.
Mhm. I mean, it's hard to parody Star Wars already at this point because number one, there's too much of it to parody,
Yes.
and they are just basically repeating. They're already like parodying their own content, so
Yeah.
or just making the same of their own content. So how do you even?
Well, and with Spaceballs, you were at least mocking something that was beloved, and now you're just mocking something that we all mock anyway. So I don't think we need a movie. Like we have read it. Like you know what I mean? I don't know. Uh, it's cool, but I just can't imagine it's gonna. Like, why besmirch like one of the greatest like spoof movies of all time? You know?
Yeah. One game, but just knocked me on my ass, and it was no reason other than who the developer was. It started showing this like Dark Souls style game where you're like fighting monsters and that type of thing. Really highly detailed graphics. And then it shows the logo for Game Freak, which is the people that make Pokemon.
No shit. So they're capable of like engines that have like graphical fidelity and stuff.
Exactly.
Huh. And it runs at a decent frame rate.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe that will mean the next Pokemon game will finally be the long needed evolutionary jump and we'll have the stability on the Switch 2 to make it happen. We'll see. That is kind of wild. What's that coming out for?
That's a Xbox. That was
Really?
on the Xbox show. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They do that every once in a while. They make their own games, but it was never a big budget game like this. It was always like a small, like other indie looking thing.
Right, right.
So they
That
must have
is,
been working on this for a while, or it's a April Fool's joke of some sort. I don't know. I can't tell the difference with them. But
yeah, that's surprising as hell.
did you ever play Super Meat Boy or enjoy
Yeah,
any of that type of
yeah.
game?
I liked it. I don't know that it like set my world on fire like it seemed to with a lot of people, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of developed that whole like ultra hard platformer thing that became overdone, right? All your
Hmm.
Celestes and everything. The enemy is nigh, and like all those. They're
Yeah,
fun.
I could never. It's kind of like the same way with the Bennett Foddy stuff, where it's just like it gets to a point where you're like
Yeah,
those type of games. You're in a rhythm, and then you're out of. It's a very bad time. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Where you're just like, I'm gonna do this again, and you just keep getting worse and worse at it, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. This,
yeah. That's always what happens to me too, and I just walk away at some point and never come back. Even like the messenger got to that with me.
yeah, that one got the amount of jumps and hits that you had to do in that game was crazy. I thought
Yeah. Are they doing another one of those then?
they're doing a 3D
Oh, I did see something
platformer.
about that. God,
Yeah,
sometimes like when you make that jump though, like I just think like Dadish also, like when they made that jump, it's just a completely different animal and it's fine, but it doesn't serve the game as well as just like a tight 2D environment can.
right. And that's what I'm wondering because like the original was like, oh, I died, you're reset immediately.
Yeah,
Like you're just can they do that in the 3D thing? And
right.
can your brain have the bearings on that? If it could even, with 2D, it's just like, oh, I memorized the layout or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that lands. I mean, I'm interested if it turns out to be good. I'd give it a shot, but I don't know that I'm like jazzed about the prospect of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about it.
Huh.
I don't know. Nothing is as exciting as it used to be, right?
Yeah, nothing groundbreaking. Um, well, since we're talking about like Disney and all that stuff, I just put it down to like touch on. Like I saw that Disney did like a $450 million buyout of the rest of Hulu. Um, And I'm excited about that for one reason, and I hope that is that either Hulu or Disney Plus goes away, and I only have to pay for one thing now, because it seems like they were already cross posting content anyway. So my guess
Hmm.
is those services will blend into something new at some point. Is my hope.
Yeah, that would be th- when you're in Disney Plus. So like all of my Hulu stuff is in there, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I don't know about the FX stuff. Maybe that isn't. I
That might
don't
be the
know.
difference. Yeah.
Some
Well,
other
I mean,
weird
they
stuff
should
that
be able
maybe
to blend it.
doesn't.
They own Fox.
Hmm.
So yeah, I really hope it turns into one thing. Also, it was funny because we've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, and I swear in there's a bunch of ads for Max. But you know how like they had HBO and then they changed it to Max, and now they're running ads telling me that it's changing to HBO Max. I'm like, what the fuck are we even doing here? Like,
Hmm.
of course it was a dumb idea to take the HBO brand. Like that was the only thing you had. Like, but
And
Jesus,
they
make up your mind.
that CEO, I don't understand how he is not fired yet. That it's probably one of the worst run companies right now is Warner's.
Yeah, I mean it's just a joke, you know.
Hmm.
Should have just stuck with HBO. Made
Yeah.
made sense.
Well, because they changed it when they merged with the Discovery stuff and brought all of that garbage in.
Yeah, but it is just filler trash.
Yep.
And I don't
And
know if
now
you
that
have access to like that Discovery Plus or whatever. I have it through my parents. Like that is just a nothing burger of content. Like it is the most worthless pay for app.
yep. I think that's all in HBO Max. I
So
think
again,
that
it's
was
just like, are they going to combine those things? You think, or
I don't know. Well, now they split them up again. Now they're
oh,
spinning them off into different companies again.
wonderful.
And now it's like they're all just trying to decide which
It's almost like
which
we've gotten to a
video
point.
games is in that too, you know?
It's almost like we've gotten to a point where you just need like a cable that you can plug into the back of your TV that gives you access to all these things in one package. I don't know what you would call that service. Feel like we could be moving that direction though. You know, it seems very similar to something I had 20 years ago before everything was
Yeah,
an
it's kind
app.
of like that.
I don't know.
But nowadays, you could use that one cable and just put a VPN on it, and then I
Yes.
won't tell you how to do the rest of that, but
Yeah. I like the streaming ecosystem is just so wild anymore.
mm,
It's ridiculous. And this Hulu acquisition is certainly going to make things more complicated. Be curious to see where we're sitting next year with that service.
what a underpay though to basically like, well, we own the majority of this, so we get to tell you how much we're going to pay you to get
Right.
out of this.
Right. I'm sure they wanted to give them a reasonable amount though, because they wanted to posture in a way that like the equity that they have is like valuing the rest of the company at some absurd amount. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's kind of funny. Well, the only other thing I had is just a random one I was going to throw on there. It was like I've been talking about, well, to you. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but like I get so tired of like just using my car to commute every week, and then I'm like filling up $50 in gas, and it's just a waste. So I was like, I'm gonna get an e,
Breaks.
yeah, and brakes, yeah, $1,200 later, yay. So I was just like, I finally committed to like, I'm just gonna get an e-bike and bike to work, and I did that, and it's been going okay. The first day I rode it, I got to work fine, and then at noon it started raining. I was like, son of a bitch. So then I like had to book it home real quick over lunch, and I made it like halfway home, and it just the sky opened up. So like I'm going like 25 on an e-bike down the street, just get like pelted with rain, laptop in a backpack as I'm on my way home. So that wasn't the best experience, but so far, I live like 3 miles probably from my office. And an e-bike seems like a pretty good way to get there and back. Like I've done it like 3 times now. My battery's still holding a good charge. The only thing is like the looks at work, because like I work at a bank, so it's a bunch of bankers, and like everybody's doing like the keeping up with the Joneses thing. So like I'm rolling in with like an e-bike, and everyone's rolling in with their like $70,000 pickups to prove how cool they are. So that's a little weird, but I don't know. It seems to be doing the trick. It only takes me like an extra 5 minutes. So like it really doesn't add much to my commute time. It's just, weather permitting. Um, and then, there's just the scary factor too of living in a part of the world where pedestrian or bike traffic is like not built into the way cities are laid out here. So I don't really have, like, I have to cross some pretty interesting intersections. And like, it's probably just a matter of time because like people get smoked on bikes all the time. Like motorcycles too. In Fargo, like somebody dies every week on a motorcycle. So that part I'm not like super jazzed about, like the extra risk, but it's kind of nice just to, like zone out, like throw an earbud in and listen to the podcast. And like, not that I couldn't do that in a car, but it seems like it's going to save me some money once I pay off, the cost of the bike. So
has there been a day, I guess probably not since you had it, where it's been like really hot to the point where like by the time you get to work, you're just like drenched in sweat just from being outside?
Not yet. And that's why I went with the e-bike route, and I made sure I bought one that was throttle only as an option. Yeah. I mean, this has pedal assist, and that's usually what I use, but I figure when it gets like super hot, I'll basically just be using it as like a low rent motorcycle. So that was my concern, is like I don't want to be at work like just drenched. So yeah, but it kind of sucks because like it's an e-bike, right? So it's heavy, and I work on the second floor. So like I really like can't go through the back exit and take the stairs like I would normally do. So now I have to like go in the front lobby and like do the morning chit chat with everybody and like wait for the goddamn elevator, which is slow as hell, to like get the thing up to the second floor. And I throw it in the maintenance room up there because it's a bank. If I left it anywhere out in the open, someone would have a problem with it, and I can't just leave it outside because that'll disappear. So, and then there's the whole thing of like a helmet, because obviously it would be in my best interest to wear a helmet, right? So I bought one. I was like, fuck it, I'll just be the dork with the helmet. And I bought an e-bike helmet because apparently that's the thing. They make them so they're like crash rated up to like 30 miles an hour.
Okay. And
it covers the back of your cranium a little better. And I put that thing on, and like my wife and daughter were like laughing to tears. And to be fair, I did look like I was probably like training for the Special Olympics. So I've just decided that there's no way in hell I can take that to the office and live that down. Like I would just rather risk ending my life. So I'm just going with that. Like if I crash and eat shit, it is what it is, But it's a pretty like decent bike. Like I bought like a fat tire once, so I have like pretty good traction and stuff. The only thing is like it's rated to like 28 miles an hour, and I've had it up to 25, and like anything over 20 is like terrifying in that thing. Plus it has disc brakes, but it's heavy. Like it's a 70-pound bike. And if you're over 15 miles an hour, like those brakes are not, I couldn't save myself in a situation where like if there's something that popped up 30 yards in front of me, like I wouldn't be able to. So like I really have to drive with that in mind, where like the brakes are more of a suggestion, and I just need to make sure that I'm like watching where, driveways and laneways are coming in and out. But
yep,
it's been pretty sweet. Like it climbs up over the overpass at like 15 miles an hour, which is like the steepest hill in Fargo because we're just a giant flat city. But so far so good. We'll see. Plus, I mean, I just look super badass,
Well, yeah,
fat tire bike. I'm probably the coolest guy at the office. So.
And leather. You're
yep,
all
assless chaps for
leather.
Breathability. Yep. Yeah. So we'll see if that was a worthwhile investment. I've been thinking like I could really game the system and then like hook up my power station and solar panels, and then also not pay for the electricity to recharge this thing and just use the sun. And then I'm like really getting by for cheap, but we'll see. It probably doesn't cost me that much to charge up. Supposedly this thing gets like 75-mile range if you're doing pedal assist, and 45 if you're throttle only. Time will tell. I have a feeling it's far less than that, but so far I've put
battery then.
Yeah, it is a good battery. So far I've put like 10 miles on it, and I've only used a quarter of the battery according to the gauge. We'll see what happens.
Jeez. Wow.
So, and then I put like a big fat cruiser bike seat on it, like just a big giant seat, so I don't have to like worry about, pulling the seat out of my ass by the time I get to the office. So it's an incredibly comfortable ride. So yeah, that's my life now. Dorky bike guy.
But you can't talk about how good it is, because then if everybody starts doing that, well, then it's just a miserable ride to work because everybody's on the sidewalk doing it too.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. I also am like questioning the legality, because like I'm sure I'm not supposed to just like essentially have an electric motorcycle on the sidewalks. Like I bet if a cop goes by they could like, well, at least warn me not to do that. So like, I always make sure I'm doing the pedal assist as much as possible so that it looks like I'm pedaling under my own power. Cause then it's not, then it's fine. Like they don't care then. But yeah, it was funny because the first day I took it, like I got to the intersection and I have the crosswalk light. It's time for the crosswalk and for me to go. And then the city mat bus, like public transportation, gives zero fucks and just flies right through the intersection right in front of me. And I was like, holy shit. Like first day, almost got taken out by a bus. Like when you can't even right, and when you can't rely on like city workers to like even give a shit, it's kind of amazing. But
they want you to ride the bus.
Yeah, they do. It is very cheap. I just don't have an hour and a half to wait for the bus because public transportation in Fargo never runs on time. But it is working out well though too, because like the main roads right now, because construction season where we live, everything's tore up, so I don't have a great route to get in and out of my office with the vehicle anyway. So this is currently less of a headache.
Yeah, I might be interested in something like that because I'm just far enough away from everything that you'd want to bike to.
Sure.
Like 2 or 3 miles away, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it'd be nice to just have some sort of assist to it.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of nice too, like for my purpose, like it's got a nice big, like the one I bought has like a nice big rack on the back. So like I just strap my backpack to that. So I don't have to like, again, your point, the hot days, like show up to the office like with a sweaty back from like having a backpack on me. So it's pretty convenient for that. Like you could totally throw like a basket or like a satchel bag on there and do like, a quick in-town run to grab something from the store. And it's pretty cool. And this thing wasn't too expensive. I think it was like 800, which is like a cheap entry point for like something somewhat decent. Cause like you could spend 7,000-8,000 if you want. Like, I mean, if you go to Shields, I think they start at like 5.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah. Well, my big thing is just like, because I went with the cheap version, like how long will this actually last? And that's probably going to be the determining factor, but I'm just waiting for the day that I hit a nail or something though, and like pop a tire and I'm like just leaving the office. Now I got to walk this bitch all the way home. So, cause that's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all my exciting news, but should we move on
to... Thanks for saving the earth.
Yeah, I'm doing my part, after burning brakes up, smoking everything up. Should we move on to staff picks then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have like an actual one. I just have something I threw on there lazy, but I hope this is what I think it is from you.
Yeah. We watched this on last week. It's this little movie called The Jerk from the 80s, 70s. I don't, maybe late 70s.
Yeah, it could be
the 80s. I mean, there's definitely some stuff in there, some comedy that does not play any. You cannot do anymore.
His whole origin story.
I know it's old.
I just love that a 30-year-old man realizes for the first time that he's not black.
Yeah. But man, this is one of my favorite movies, and we watched it with the kids, and they thought it was hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it all happened because my wife was saying, I just need to do this. Oh, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. I'm almost done. I just need to do this. And then I started doing the whole spiel where he's just like, I don't need anything except this. But that's it. That's the only thing I need. Oh, I need this. You know, we're just walking out the door. One of the greatest. Steve Martin is hilarious in that movie. He has perfect timing and just like the best body.
The physical comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And it just makes me so sad of where he ended up. Just like it's almost like a guy that you just like have to prod to be like, be funny. And he like tries not to be funny half the time. I feel like, I don't know.
It all fell apart at The Father of the Bride. Like that was when he made the pivot.
Yep. I mean, then after that, he's like, I'm not even a comedian. I'm a banjo player or some shit like that. And to be fair, I haven't seen Murders in the Building or whatever that with him and Martin Short, which is probably pretty good. But not in the same way as what the Jerk was. I don't think that
Yeah,
type
he had
of
such a
comedy.
good run too, like in the '80s films and like Three Amigos and like all that great stuff that he was doing.
Yep.
And I mean, Pizza in a Cup, like that's still like one of the best like stupid gags ever in a movie. They make
You're
the
not going to
best
find a
pizza in
better
the cup.
pizza in the cup.
Yeah, it's just like slop in a ramen cup. It's great. Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, that movie is pretty good. I did not remember the multiple instances of the N word coming up, but
yeah. That's definitely why that one doesn't appear on a lot of lists anymore. Because yeah, can't do
yeah,
that. And
no,
it's not even like they didn't even do it in a way that's like totally offensive or anything either. But it's just like yeah, in today's culture and climate, just like would
yeah,
does
you
not
just can't do
fly
it.
remotely.
Yeah, and some of the jokes just don't work anymore either because my kids did not understand what he got so excited in the movie. Uh, he gets so excited that his name is in the phone book. In the phone book, he's
Yep.
like, "I've made it. I've made the phone book. Made the phone book." And my kids just did not understand
Yeah,
the joke there at all.
yeah, I could see that. What the hell's a phone book?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love the bit too where he's poor and then he's donating all that blood and then he has to stop because he cut himself and all the air came out. It's like, so stupid. Uh,
Yeah. But I mean that's the best part about this movie is like you got the physical comedy,
yeah,
you have the ultimate like just stupidity comedy. Like it's some of the
yeah,
dumbest comedy you'll see. And then yeah, you just got good joke and bits like that, you know.
yeah. It's good gags, good writing all the way around. It's just like
Yep.
a pure
Yep.
comedy, which doesn't get made anymore. And
Yep.
like, yeah, one of the earliest examples of a great one. I mean, I need to rewatch that now. What did you find it on?
Whoa, what was it on Roku channel maybe?
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I should rewatch that. Such a good film.
Yeah.
um,
Just made me miss Steve Martin being that.
I just love Steve Martin too because he's always like, as long as he's been famous from the time he was like in his 20s, he's always been like pure gray hair, looked like he was like so he's aged so gracefully because he's virtually unchanged, other than like he's got some more bags under his eyes these days. But yeah,
My kids did when the movie starts like that and he's like he's being a kid in a poor black family.
yeah,
Like my kids were like, I don't understand. He's got great. He's an old man. Like,
it's like no, he's like 20 something here. Yeah, it's funny. Genetically bad luck, but worked out incredibly well for his career. So
yep.
I mean, at least he kept his hair too. So I'd rather go. I would have rather have gone gray in my 20s and still had a full head of hair. I'd make that trade.
Yep. Yep.
My staff pick. It's a questionable one, but I think I talked about how I've been looking into this before. So I used to have a pretty bad addiction to chewing tobacco, which is not a great habit to have. And anyone who's been really into it knows like when you quit it, you like it's probably like smoking too, which I did for a short term because I needed the nicotine trying to get off of the chewing tobacco. Like you just always miss it, right? And now they have like these wonderful healthy products like Zyn, which is the one I'm picking here. That is just it's the ultimate healthy, health conscious form of nicotine, right? There's no tar, there's no added chemicals, there's no fiberglass or wood. It's just straight nicotine pouches to your gums. And then I just kind of like pressed my luck over Father's Day weekend when I had to run out and grab a propane refill at the gas station. Was like, I mean, there's Zyn right behind this cashier, so I should probably just buy a tin because my wife won't kill me because I'll just say it's like a Father's Day treat or whatever. And I did that. And I got scolded, but she didn't kill me to her credit. I was told I can't buy any more, but they've been enjoyable. I'm actually I have my last pouch in right now as we speak. So good stuff. I would say if you want nicotine and you want a healthy alternative, it's fine. I mean, don't pick up the habit, anybody, but I like it.
Yeah. I think they've refined it to the point where it's almost like what's the drawback? You know, what's the
Yeah.
catch? Um,
Yeah. I mean, other than it's an addictive substance and it can fuck
Right.
with your like
And what
blood
nicotine
pressure
does.
and stuff, you know. It's amazing how fast your body falls back in the rhythm though, because like if you're a person who's on nicotine, like you know that your body tends to like sort of like not start for the day until you've like had that first hit of nicotine. So it's like you just feel it like in the morning, like you put a pouch in, like all of a sudden your like digestive system's like, oh, I should work now. Like, and then you just like take a huge morning dump and it's like so satisfying. I mean, to me, as much as I can romanticize tobacco addiction, I guess, or nicotine addiction. Um, so yeah, it it's all right. It's all right for something that's horrible for you.
I'm just picturing in like 25 years from now, though, that I'll be watching, The Simpsons reruns on some channel that's marketed toward old people like me. And the ads will be like, have you or your family member been exposed to Zyn
Oh God, yeah,
or something like that? There'll be some massive lawsuit that it'll be like, oh, we found out that the flavoring or something.
right. It was made with like rat poison or something.
Wouldn't that be funny if it was like it wasn't anything to do with the nicotine? It was like the added flavors.
Yeah, or like the fabric or like the cotton pouches or something were like
Yeah.
problematic and like yeah, microplastic somehow. Yeah, yeah. You know, big tobacco. If they can't sell you tobacco, they're still going to find a way to give you the nicotine. So I
Well,
mean, I honestly like this would have been a nice product to have on the market when I was trying to actually quit chewing tobacco because like it would
yeah.
have been nice to have something to step off on. But I don't know. I mean, don't buy it, but I do recommend it if you really have to have nicotine.
If you,
Zyn,
yeah,
try
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's all the same companies that own that shit, right? So it's not like, oh boy, the tobacco companies are hurting, right? It is the
Right,
tobacco companies.
hundred
So
percent. Yeah, just like just like with people not wanting beer, so like all the big beer companies just switch to seltzers. It's like it's the healthier way to kill yourself. They always find a way to get you.
yeah,
But I suppose after that week staff pick, we should probably get into the weekend rental, huh?
Hmm.
And for the uninitiated, the weekend rental, of course, is the game we play for a given system. Andy and I will spend some time with the game, and then we'll decide whether we would buy, rent, or burn this game. We're talking about a Sega Genesis early entry here, and that is Super Thunderblade, which is from Sega, part of one of their arcade powerhouses, kind of where they were at in the late 80s. This is up there with the Space Harriers and the Outruns of the world. This is a very Sega ass arcade game where you play
yes,
as a helicopter, and it's sort of that Space Harrier Outrun perspective, right? Where it's just like all scrolling, right? Like you're moving forward, but instead of being on the road or in an open field, you're above a road, and there's like buildings everywhere. And that's kind of the gist of the gameplay, which is the gist of like all of that era of Sega for the most part.
yeah. It's kind of weird that they were able to kind of make the same game. I mean, between Afterburner
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Space
Afterburner is a
Harrier.
great example, right? It's got to be
It's
just that they had the engine, right? So they just molded it to
yeah,
these different games.
the super scaling, whatever that yeah. It is funny that, Sega put out a game with super in the name. And then,
Right.
obviously the Nintendo came out and they're like, Sega's like, we can no longer use super in any of the names. I don't think.
Yeah. It it plays to me like just like Afterburner. Now that you mentioned that, I can't believe I wasn't thinking that, but like it plays like that in like a Space Harrier game, right? Where like that forced perspective of like behind the vehicle and stuff running towards you really just kind of means that you can't really see what's coming at you unless you're constantly moving around the screen. So in all of those games, what inevitably happens is you just sort of devolve into like always moving in like a oval pattern across the playfield to ensure that you're dodging whatever's coming at you and still just happening to get hits and destroy enemies. You can't really target them so much because if you did that, you wouldn't be able to see what was coming at you. So I feel like in this one, I have an easier time I think maybe just because of the speed, like it's not as quick as an Afterburner or a Space Harrier, so I'm able to manage that a little bit better, and you like fall into a rhythm. But at the same time, it's not a very fun or rewarding style of gameplay because it's just sort of the same thing over and over again, like from an
Yeah.
input
And
perspective.
it pretty much is just that. If you are not doing that circular motion, or at least I don't even think back and forth would work. I think you pretty much
Mhm.
have to do a circular motion the entire time you're playing this game. Obviously, later levels you start getting into obstacles that you have to be in certain spots that you can't just
Yeah,
freeform into any movement. But yeah, I found that part being super annoying because I think using a D-pad to just constantly approximate a circle
yes,
the entire game is very annoying. I hate that doing
yeah,
that, and it's almost required in
yeah.
this game.
It is a game that definitely benefited from being in a arcade with like a control stick yoke or something because yeah,
Hmm.
like you said, it just sucks on a D-pad. And it just feels like you're almost not like ever in control of the game. It's just like you're constantly like fighting for life, which I guess like in a traditional scrolling or top-down shooter or something like that's always sort of the case, but I feel like where it's different is like a well-designed shooter has patterns and you can sort of like learn it, and this is more just like learning how to keep yourself alive and getting past
The shots
enemies.
don't matter.
No, not at all.
You know what you're just shooting, and it kills the things. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Yeah, it's really is just holding the shoot button down and going in a circle. That's the entire game.
it is.
Obviously, the things get a little bit more things that you have to avoid, but
Yeah, and boy does that come on fast. I mean, by the second
yeah,
stage you're like, well, you got to shoot the gap, and if you don't do it just right, like sorry.
yeah,
um
it's those are rough.
I did like the presentation though, especially for the era that this came out, you know, I think this is 89 this port came to the Genesis. And like the presentation's really good, like the effects are really clean and smooth, and I loved like the transitions from like the behind the helicopter to like the top down perspective. That that section of gameplay I think is almost less fun because you can't control
Oh
forward or
yeah.
up and down, like you're literally just banking left and right. But like the way the game pulls that off and how smoothly those transitions run is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that definitely is pretty cool how it does that. But yeah, those are the least favorite. For as bad as I don't enjoy the main action of the game, I thought those were. I think that the top down could be a funner game for me, but they
Yes.
were executed way worse. So,
Yeah, all they needed to do is figure out how to give you up and down, like vertical, you know,
mm,
control, but like just hampering you to be left and right really kind of sucked the fun out of that.
yeah,
And like I just think like the way they do the scaling becomes problematic by that second level too. Like you were saying, like you have to like there's obstacles that come up where you have to like shoot a canyon tunnel essentially. Like, and by shoot it I mean you have to fly through the one or two gaps that you can get through. And like the way they bring the scaling forward is kind of chunky. So like you really, I mean, you learn to gauge it, but like you'll think you're fine, and then the next animation comes up and brings the background forward, and now you're smack dab in the middle of a wall where you thought you were in the clear. So it takes like there's a learning curve to understanding how that scaling is working and where things are going to land on the screen as it gets into perspective.
yeah. That's where I'm wondering if there was like if it is supposed to be like that or not. Like,
I feel like it's got to be like a hardware limitation thing or something.
yeah, it's really weird, and I don't like. I feel like when you play Outrun, the problem with that is you look on the sides of Outrun, they have the same type of things going on, but they're massively they constantly duplicate, like they're all in a row, like so
Right.
it's really hard to tell, are they doing the same type of like chunk perspective kind of scaling that this is doing, or is it all smooth? I think Outrun pulls it off more, maybe even just by doing that trick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true because they're staggering the obstacles here. So like it just the holes in like that technology has kind of become more apparent.
Right.
I really wish too, like I wish it had like a special shot, like like a bomb or something that most traditional
Mhm.
shooters have, mostly just for the boss sections because those just kind of become boring. And it'd be nice if like there was a reward system to where like if you had gotten through the level cleanly, you'd have like a massive nuke or something to like bomb them and get through it faster. Um,
Yeah.
but those sections are kind of cool too. I mean, it's nice to see like a big sprite come on screen and you're just doing a standard attack, but it's just I don't know. I this this style of like arcade game just to me has never like held up well out of the era that it was in, and I think that's true of this port too.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
would
I've
rather do an
always,
outrun.
yeah, I think I mean, I've always been a Sega guy, and Space Harrier, Afterburner, like none of those ever did anything for me. Even like Afterburner Climax, which is probably one of the most gorgeous games ever made. It's
Mhm.
amazing to look at.
Oh, the
I
speed of it
still,
too. Yeah,
yeah, I still don't find it fun, I guess.
yeah, I'm
That
with
type
you.
behind the back of shooter just does not, just don't find it. They never pull it off quite right.
Right?
Like just because I think, well, it's the perspective, you just can't do it, you know,
Yeah,
the correct way.
yeah. It's so much more just like random chance than skill because of how that perspective forces you to be blocking things that are critical to see down the flight
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. And this game is just, I mean, there's so many bullets in the air. Like, obviously, they're just trying to do it to be like, look how many bullets we can get in the air,
100%. Yeah.
more than like, let's have a realistic gameplay that you're avoiding this stuff instead of just like, no, I'll just stay one step ahead of you the entire way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that whole thing of like, it's built for the quick in and out, like get the quarter, wow them with the graphics and like you said, just the
Hmm.
spectacle. But when it translates to a home port, it loses some of that appeal. And there's these games benefit, especially Afterburner, like that experience with the cabinet and the proper setup and like the faster frame rates. Like when these things come home, it's just that magic is gone. The same with like what's the hard driving, right? Like hard driving got ported to like so much stuff, but like the cool part of hard driving was the cabinet, like the proper full cabinet of hard driving. Like when it comes home, it's like, well, this it runs worse and it's not that
Yeah.
realistic when I'm not sitting in like a full cabinet.
Yep. Yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know. I did not, I guess wasn't aware that this is what this game was.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I had always assumed it was, maybe like a choplifter type game or just a top-down shooter or something, something like that.
Yeah. I
I
think
didn't
I
know it
had
was one of these.
I dabbled with it a little bit and like I played it in the arcade some. I think I had more fun with it than I thought I was going to, but at the same point, like it's not something that's going to hold my interest more than a couple play sessions back to back. I could see like it does get the hooks in you a little bit of like once you get the rhythm of like okay the progression, right? Like I'm going to get a little farther each time, but not in a way that I enjoy the gameplay more. It's just like I can see a little bit more of the game, but it's not enough of a reward to justify frequent revisits, I don't think.
No, no, I don't think so.
So what do you think you'd give it then on the Byron Burn scale?
I we played um Space Harrier on this before, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember what I gave it. I don't know if I burned it or if I rented it. I'm guessing I rented it. This seems like just a reskin of Space Harrier to me.
It really does.
And Space Harrier is way, way more interesting. Like the visuals that you're seeing. I mean, just a guy just strapped to a rocket or whatever the hell he is too. Like that's just more interesting to look at too, you know?
Right.
And when he's on the ground, he can run. It doesn't, the
Doesn't
helicopter
force you
doesn't
to
land on the
land.
ground and be like, take off.
Yeah, why did they leave that in the game? Such a dumb feature.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to burn this game. Out of all of these type of games, the force perspective and scaling, whatever it is, I think this is probably the the one that I had the least amount of enjoyment out of.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I can see that. I'm surprisingly, I thought I was going to come in with that perspective. In going back to this one, I think I'll give it a rent. Just because I think there is something there. It's maybe not for me, but I could see being a person that gets really into mastering a game like this and kind of like working through its flaws. And I think like it is at least a nice showpiece for early Genesis games, and what Sega was doing, that I could give it a rent. But yeah, it's not something I would want to come back to often or feel the need to have in my collection for sure.
yeah, I do want to see the Master System. But I suppose, Space Harrier and Afterburner and all that, they went to Master System too. So it's
Yeah,
probably somewhat comparable.
yeah. I bet the thing's chunky as hell on Master System.
So you've played the arcade then?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember if the scaling is chunky like that, or is it just
I
kind of scroll and be smooth?
I felt like it felt pretty similar to this, which I think is why I was impressed by it. But my memory, like it was like so long ago. I haven't played it since I
Yeah.
was a kid, and it's not something I find in arcades when we go to places anymore. So yeah, it felt like what I remembered, and I was actually more impressed by it than I thought I would be in the visual department. But yeah, I think it's just kind of like that in general.
Yeah. A flight stick would make a huge difference in this game.
100%. I agree. And I couldn't use like the analog stick. I just had to go to the buttons because the analog stick was just driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little frustrating too that like in a game where you're an aerial vehicle, like the responsiveness and the movement speed of your vehicle is so sluggish, and that's maybe the part where Afterburner gets the leg up, right? Because like same gameplay, but like that thing turns on a dime. And I guess a helicopter wouldn't. Maybe obviously it's not going to be like a fighter jet, but I feel like it moves more sluggishly than it needs to.
But all the tanks can come out down the road like 1,000 miles an hour and shoot at you. So why
Yeah,
can't your
it was
yeah.
it was Trump's military parade. The game. There were just as many people in it. But I suppose that's another one in the books. So
It is. You can email us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Blue Sky and, of course, the Geekade Patreon network that we are a part of, where we have a exclusive podcast that we talk about movies. I don't think we've picked our next one yet, but
no, we'll have to decide that here.
it'll be a good one. It always is.
Always. And we're
That's
great
a
at
guarantee.
describing movies. Like that's probably the best thing we do is describe things well.
You've seen the movie. Yep. Yeah, that'll be it. So until next time, be kind, rewind.